Yo, what is up, GBA type people? I am Randy HLD.
Aloha GBA fans, it is your boy Brada Cahoots. I am happy that we are back again for another video here on the GBA.
Heck yeah, and we're definitely not recording this, right after we recorded week 1 recap. But we're going to be going over the week 2 preview of the GBA 10th anniversary season. We're going to be doing a quick analysis on what we think is going to be big to watch in the week 2 games. So without further ado, let's go ahead and just jump right in. The first game we're going to be discussing, we have Playmore Esports, coached by GeneralTarheel, traveling to Copenhagen to play Frosted and/or Sawsbucks. And this match, you can see the matchup on screen. The Terra captains, note, we got Roaring Moon that can go dark or fire, and then on Ben's side, and then for Frosted side, she has the Hydreigon that can go dark or poison, and the Avalokasuian that can go fighting or rock. So right away, just looking at this here, I think that Roaring Moon has potential to do some work. I mean, when is it not, right? If you have Dragon Dance, you gotta respect Dragon Dance, right?
I agree. I think Roaring Moon has a very good matchup here, especially when their main defensive on it is like an Avalug or a Magnezone.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so yeah. A lot of those are like their big defensive, other than Slowbro, which does not want to take a crunch from Roaring Moon. Both Avalug and Magnezone are weak to EQ, and a D-Dance from a Roaring Moon is just devastating completely. So it is definitely the mon to look for, but it looks like a good team, and especially on the Copenhagen Sawsbucks side, I think they also have a few threats. I mean, Lando T is always something to watch out for, but also the Hydreigon, Talonflame could snowball. If you guys don't know what Hisuian Lilligant can do, it can do good things. Hustle is never something you want to sleep on, especially if you get a Victory Dance up. It's a good mon, but I think both of them have a very good shot at this week, and it could really be anyone's game.
I agree. I like Hisui and Avalug in this matchup as well, and I do think that Hydreigon, kind of similar to week 1, can do some things just on paper with the Dragon Dance, and being Terra Poison, it can ultimately just sit in front of the Slitherwing. I don't think Slitherwing can break through it if it Terras, so I think there's definitely opportunities for both sides. I think it's just a matter of who's going to be able to do what they want to do.
Definitely. I'm also curious to see if they actually do some Sun shenanigans for this week that they didn't really do in week 1.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see that too, but both coaches are coming off a loss, so it'll be something to keep track of as they both look to get on the win column there. So with that, let's go ahead and jump to the second game. We have the Calgary Flamethrowers traveling to the Big Apple to play Goldoa, and I think it's gonna be Goldoa. I don't know who it's gonna be. Goldoa. I keep saying I assume it's the head coach, but they're gonna be traveling. They're gonna be playing the New York Empoleon. Okay, that's who they're playing. And just looking at the matchups here, obviously, when you go up against Electrode, Electrode has the great speed tier, but I think Back's Caliber, once again, looks like it can do some work. It can do Swords Dance, it can do Dragon Dance. I think Ledge is looking to hopefully repeat a performance from last week, and to be a little bit trickier when you have an Ursaluna sitting in front of you, or even Quaquaval if it's able to bulk up and sort of try to keep up with the setup going on.
Well, definitely.
Yeah, I don't know what else you're seeing here.
I think the main thing is that I would be on the lookout for the Greninja Redemption arc on the New York Empoleon side. Coming off of a misgen in week 1, I could definitely expect Goldoa wanting to get some revenge and have Greninja pop off this week. But other than that, I think Mew could do some Mew things. It definitely looks good against the Calgary Flamethrowers team. I also expect Zapdos to put in a lot of work here. If I was the New York Empoleons, I'd be bringing Zapdos just to help deal with the Quaquaval. It's immune to the Ursaluna's Headlong Rush. A bulky Zapdos can definitely tank a few of their few hits from Back's Caliber, and even Quaquaval. I've used a defensive Zapdos before, and it's definitely not a mon to sleep on. And I mean, I am excited for Ice Q shenanigans for whenever they choose to bring it. Hopefully it's week 2.
Hey man, I would love to see that as well. Let's go into the third game here. We have the San Francisco Arcaniners, SceptileMC, traveling to Wolverhampton to play the Weaviles. And the Terra Captains here, we have the Volcarona, which can go fire or water. Iron Leaves can go on just Weavile side. You got Psychic or Fire. Frostmoth can go ice or water. But I think the fact that the Walking Wake seems to have, the switching seem to be somewhat limited to the Walking Wake. I mean, Amoonguss is like the staple answer to that. But I think he has a lot for Amoonguss as is, you know, between the Iron Leaves, the Rotom Heath, Frostmoth, the Braviary too, he wants to bring in. He's double birds, right? So he can bring a lot to cover the Amoonguss.
Oh, definitely.
The Great Tusk is... I don't think it's going to be as clear cut as it was in week 1, like just straight up already banned, but because he does have quite a few resists and immunities. But perhaps, you know, kind of like how George struggled against the Iron Treads week 1, a Rapid Spin late game could, you know, throw some problems at him if depending on the kind of build he brings this time. Other than that, what are you seeing here?
Yeah, I would say that I would look out for the Gyarados in this match. I think Gyarados has a really good matchup against the Wolverhampton Weaviles, especially when the main like switch-ins would be Walking Wake or we had defensive Samurott. Gyarados can definitely do some very, very offensive shenanigans. Also having the Intimidate ability or Moxie, getting a D-Dance up could be absolutely devastating. It does have a favorable matchup when it comes to the Great Tusk. I think the defensive option could definitely 1v1 the Samurott. With the recovery that it has with Grassy Surge, I think it could definitely put in a lot of work here. And a lot of people have been sleeping on Rillaboom after it got nerfed, porting over from Gen 8, but I think it's definitely still a very, very strong Mon.
I agree with that. I actually like the Hawlucha as well, the terrain combo. I think Hawlucha has a spot here. The fighting and, you know, flying combo is always hard to prepare for and switch into it. I think it could be very nice to have that. So with that, let's jump into the 4th matchup. We're going to be talking about the Chicago Dragapults, coached by Q, and traveling to the Borussia Donphan, coached by Lars. And I said that completely wrong. Well, sorry, Lars. So in this matchup, we have the Terra Captains to keep an eye out for. We have the Iron Moth that can go fire or grass. And then we have the Salamence that can go flying or steel. And the Volcanion can go water or grass. And, well, to me, of course, we saw Dragapult go off in week 1. Can it do it again? Looking at the matchup, it probably can.
I think it definitely can.
I think Weavile, obviously, you know, you got, you know, really, really strong Ice Shard to take advantage. Maybe you have some speed control going on with Tornadus. You got the Brambleghast in combination. I think it takes advantage of the Tailwind, even if it's like turn 2 or 3 of the Tailwind. I'm pretty sure it does.
I think it does. I think if Tailwind is up, no matter what turn it was set, Brambleghast should get the boost. But I definitely think Dragapult has a very big play here, being super effective against like the Cresselia, being able to take on like super effective against Brambleghast. I would not be surprised if Q decides to bring the D-Dance variant, just D-Dance, Phantom Force, Dragon Darts variant. It looks really good here, especially if they want to get as fast as possible, barring any Scarfers. But I also think the Iron Moth has a really good matchup here, especially against like the Enamorous Eye, the Iron Treads, Weavile, Venomoth. It definitely goes in on a lot of mons here.
100%. I think also to watch out for Lars' side. I think Volcanion's like actually really strong in this matchup. You know, there's not a lot that wants to switch into. Whether it be like a spec set or like a life orb set or just one run heavy duty boots, you know, steam eruption with that chance to burn could be pretty huge on the Dragapult if he wants to go physical, because Dragapult is the only mon that reliably resists, you know, bolt attacks. I mean, Tauros does, but I say the word reliable, so it's like, you know, Tauros, I guess if you want to throw a vest on it, you could do that. And I guess it makes sense. I guess it also acts as like a check to Weavile too, so yeah, actually, I kind of like Tauros here. I think Tauros actually had a place here defensively, especially with Intimidate. All right, so moving to the second to last match that we're covering, we have the Bullet Punch Club UzigunNer traveling to Atlanta to play the Victinis. Both, you know, one coach came off a pretty dominating victory, the other coming off a very, very, very close win.
Very close.
Teeth. This is the complete opposite of wins here. So just to recap, the Terra captains, you got Dragonite on Uzi side that can go flying or normal, and then Skeledurge can go fairy, fire, Dragalge, whatever, can go dragon or Watcher. So just a quick glance at this matchup here. Obviously, I think, you know, Corviknight's going to be huge defensively. I think with the likes of Dragonite, the likes of Zapdos, the likes of Meowscarada, I think Corviknight's going to be play a pretty big role here defensively. If they want to go iron defense sets, they could possibly make that work. It looks like it's pretty solid with the excluding the fact that there's, you know, Clodsire. I think Gholdengo probably could take advantage of that as well if it wants to set up like nasty plots. But I think defensively, like, having Corviknight's going to be pretty big here. I think Skeledurge Unaware is also going to be very huge in this matchup, just to make sure that Dragonite or Gholdengo, or even, I guess, Azurill to an extent, are kept under control.
Yeah.
And Tornadus, of course, I've never been a big fan of Tornadus, but I do like what he can do here. Just the fact that, like, flying spam is pretty strong, especially when it does have reliable ways to hit Gholdengo. Outside of its flying defense.
I think Tornadus T has a very good matchup here. It's going to be a very technical match. I think it's going to be a very long match from the bulk on both sides.
I can see that 100%. A lot of bulk everywhere. I think for Uzi, I think for him, it's probably going to come down to how creative can he get with the Dragonite, because it has the ability to go Terra normal, and like being able to fire all those extreme speeds will be nice to sort of keep the Urshifu from, you know, picking off with the like a Bandit Jet perhaps, or maybe even like Ice Shard from Bombasnow if it shows up, or even like a Scarf, like a Gardevoir potentially if it's trying to Dragon Dance or whatever. But I think it's going to come down to how creative he gets with the Dragonite. Gholdengo, maybe, somewhat to an extent, how creative he gets with it. But if I had to guess, it's probably going to be like a bulkier, nasty plot option to take advantage of the likes of Corviknight and I guess Komala to an extent as well. So yeah, I think he still has options. I don't think the Zapdos is still pretty strong outside of the Corviknight, and the fact that if you get the Skeledurge or Terra, then, you know, it's one less like fighting immunity, but it still switches in pretty well. And obviously it doesn't appreciate Bandit Brave Bird nonetheless. But yeah, you get Corviknight out of the way though, then like Bandit Brave Bird goes ham again. So
yeah, G-Zap is very much a problem for this team.
All right, moving to the final match of week 2 GBA. We have the Edmonton Coilers playing San Diego Snugglers, and both of these coaches are coming off a, you know, again, very close games, but obviously one coach, you got the Snugglers picking up the win, and the Coilers ultimately not picking up the win, with getting being fed to Ceruledge. But with that said, looking at this matchup here, I think looking at it just at a quick glance, I think Iron Valiant is going to have a bigger role this week. There is a lot of priority that, you know, D-Ray can have to check it, like Extreme Speed Arcanine, Jet Punch on the Donphan. But I think if he's able to safely play around that, it can potentially do some things. Annihilate's always a headache in prep, no matter what. Potentially, we're probably going to see a trick on the Rotom, I guess, to keep it under control, like a Specs or a Scarf, if I had to guess, just to prevent it from doing things. Just once you like get rid of the item on the Annihilate, it makes things a bit easier, especially if you lock it into like a bulk up or just like a Rage Fist, then you can sort of play around that with like Tyranitar or the, you know, the Farigiraf, or if it's a fighting move, then you can play around that with, you know, with the right mon. So
yep, with the Slowking G being there, I think that's going to be a very big fighting check. I also think like you said, Rotom being trick is very good. I would like to see both Rotoms come on both sides. I think they both have a very good matchup here. So if we don't get the Enamorous matchups, I want the two Rotoms.
I'll settle for that. I'm okay with that, but I want to see both.
And we also have to watch out for Palafin. I think Palafin overall is always a threat, and I don't think it's been getting a lot of love lately, but it's always something you gotta watch out for.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think that it probably won't go banned this week. I actually kind of like bulk up here just to be able to take defensive hits a lot better, set up in front of Tyranitar, set up in front of the Donphan, and potentially try to just pick things off with like +2, +3 jet punches. Obviously for Igoraf, it ignores that if you were to bring the priority blocking move. Not that it really helps it because it's really slow as is, but it could. Yeah, I still think that bulk up is probably the play here, if I had to guess. No, and
I agree.
Yeah.
If it sets up in front of any Mons, it's going to be a threat. I think it also just kind of sits in front of Goodra H. Isn't much that Goodra can do to it.
And with that, that is the Week 2 preview of GBA. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel to see more analyst videos and go check out all the coaches. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy Week 2. I know we're looking forward to it. And that's all we got. We'll see you guys sometime in the future. Not sure when, but we'll see you guys in the future.